Warning. This episode includes disturbing real-life cases of rabies and speculative science fiction scenarios. Listener discretion is advised, especially if you're squeamish about saliva, seizures, or the sudden desire to gnaw on strangers. Welcome to Mutant Hollow, where real science infects the spooky and the speculative. In this mini-episode, we dig up the gnarliest rabies cases. Join Amber, the microbiologist, and Stacy, the resident creature doctor, for a full deep dive into foaming viral nightmares.
Hell yeah. And also some speculative science and other weird theoretical stuff. Ew. Don't get bit.
Don't get bit.
Welcome back to your favorite roadside stop for brain rot, bad science, and worse decisions. Today's episode is a mini, which means it's a bite-sized dose of science horror while we work on cooking up a full, juicy outbreak for next week. And what better topic for a mini infection than rabies, the virus that turns mammals into monsters. The reason why we whisper, "Don't pet that," and the only disease that turns your dog into Cujo and your uncle into a cannibal. Stacy, you've got some case studies for us, right?
I do. I have some good stuff. So, I found, while we were thinking about this episode, a record from Los Angeles County in their veterinary public health page that is a rabies catalog from the late 1800s through the mid 1900s. Yeah, so I thought I would just read some of these rabies outbreak reports because I find them very entertaining. Does that sound entertaining to you, Amber?
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, so this is off the losangelescounty.gov website, if anybody wants to go check them out. So the first one is in 1898. They had the first confirmed case of animal rabies in Los Angeles, and this is the description. An English gentleman, I'm glad that they definitely qualified who this human was, living close to the intersection of 3rd and Flower Street, so that the neighbors could be warned, told the health officer his dog, which was uncontrollable, might have rabies. Confirmatory tests were run in Chicago. Zombie apocalypse. In 1809, the city council required all dogs running at large on streets or other public places to be muzzled, and they discovered the first human rabies death in the city of Los Angeles that year. The description of that case is, a Pasadena man was bitten on the nose by his Cocker Spaniel. A few weeks prior to biting his owner, the dog had left home and was suspected of contracting rabies. Zombie apocalypse. In 1906, there was a second outbreak of canine rabies. In the spring, the city health officer visited the Soldiers' Home, which is capitalized, so it must be a thing, 12 miles west of Los Angeles, where an officer's pet dog acted strangely, biting a man, 5 horses, several dogs, and the hogs. The head of the dog and the bite victim, let me just clarify that there's no comma between the head of the dog and the bite victim, were transported to Chicago for testing and treatment. The dog tested positive, and I don't know, I just keep picturing the head of the dog and the head of the human in a box, and the poor postal service carrier having to transport the dog's head and the human's head in a box together.
You know it's
from
leaking.
LA to Chicago in 1906.
You know that's a leaky box too, right?
Right, I wonder how long that trip would take in 1906.
So the guy's gonna be okay then?
Well, I don't know, because his head is in a box. No. Okay, this is where commas are important. The head of the dog and the bite victim, so I'm just going to clarify that they transported the entire bite victim, not just his head, to Chicago for testing and treatment. Treatment implies that he was still alive during the time of transport. The dog tested positive, and the man was given the Pasteur treatment, which is an early way to report that he got vaccinations. He survived, the human survived. Back in Los Angeles, while all this is going on in Chicago, the dogs that were attacked were immediately destroyed, and the horses were quarantined. 2 of the horses and 1 of the hogs developed rabies. So this is 1906. This is the first recorded use of vaccination in LA County.
Oh, wow, cool.
Sorry.
So I would like to know how many infections resulted from a rabid horse or hog. I heard hogs can become feral or reverted back to natural characteristics and physiology pretty quickly if they go into the wild. What if they ran away and just started attacking things? What would you do if you're walking through the woods and you saw a rabid horse running up to you?
Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse. I mean, that would be pretty gnarly. But isn't the reason why this happens, the spread and the infection happens more in carnivorous animals with the big pointy teeth, is because is it less likely for a horse to become completely aggressive and terrifying and break free and run through the woods on its own Because I don't know. Why don't we hear about scary rabid horses more than scary rabid dogs?
Because rabid dogs are scarier than a rabid horse? I don't know. That's a great question, but I will say that I will momentarily tell you about some herbivores that continue to wreak havoc and spread their rabies virus, if you are ready for that.
Ooh, yes, please.
Okay. How about I just skip ahead to that one, shall I? In 1913, the second largest outbreak of cattle rabies in LA County resulted in 1 human death. And here's the story. One evening, we're setting the stage, in a small retail dairy on the east side of LA, right, a dog with furious form of rabies ran into a corral, attacking 8 cows. When the dairyman chased the dog away, it went to a different corral, attacking another cow before leaving. Okay, so there's a cow outbreak, right?
Okay, but were they furious?
Well, I think they probably realized that the dog was furious form, and they probably killed the cows before they became rabid, right?
Oh, I want to see a furious cow so bad. A foaming mouth, furious, aggressive. You said they pinch instead of bite, but I want to see one chomping.
Of a rabid cow? Back to my dairy vat days.
Oh God. If the listeners haven't heard your squishy cattle exam story, you should definitely check that out, even though it's on the Patreon. So it's worth a listen, but that was pretty gross. I was hoping you would find a video more like, do you know the bull run in Spain where they have all the bulls?
Such an animal welfare.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if they had rabies?
I mean,
canines?
Yes. Am I allowed to say yes?
Yeah.
I think yes. I think cows with carnivorous dentition that are rabid being part of the running of the bulls makes that whole thing way more entertaining to watch and to think about. And now I think somebody should make a short video like that. Do we have any filmmakers out there that want to produce a short zombie apocalypse film about rabid carnivorous running of the bull as the outbreak scenario?
I just want to remind you that AI exists now, and that could be done in a few seconds. But yeah, for sure.
You know how I feel about AI. You know my thoughts. I have thoughts and feelings.
Did you say that you skipped some really cool stories to get to the cow? Because I want to hear some other ones for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by the cow.
Me too.
So I like this one a lot. In 1909, there was another outbreak of rabies in LA. In June, a police officer shot a collie dog with presumed rabies. Within the month, the police officer shot 3 more suspected rabid dogs found within 5 blocks of the original dog. 3 months later, rabies was diagnosed in a horse by a Pasadena veterinarian. This is in 1909. A muzzling ordinance was passed the same month by the Board of Health, so that meant that if you had dogs running around, they had to have a muzzle on. Some people denied that rabies existed. I'll just let that sink in. Strong opposition by a few dog lovers, the humane animal officer, and some members of the Board of Health resulted in repeal of the ordinance the following week. With the repeal of the muzzle ordinance, rabies spread rapidly in Los Angeles. Numerous rabid dogs were reported in various locations within the city. 4 horses and a mule died of rabies.
Wow. So I'm just going to remind everyone that just denying things, denial or denying, scientific stuff or outbreaks does not make it go away.
If denial worked in that sort of a capacity, if I could just say, hey, I don't believe that thing that's a fact. I tell you what, my student loans would no longer exist. I would just deny that I had to pay back my student loans. I would deny that I had to hand over monetary amount to get ice cream. I just don't believe that I have to pay for ice cream, so therefore I should just get ice cream whenever I want. Doesn't that sound great? Doesn't that sound like a beautiful way to live?
Do you know what the result of denial is? Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse. Rabies deniers are the source of the zombie apocalypse.
How about it?
I thought you might like that one. I really got a kick out of that one.
That was pretty good, actually.
So here's the next one. 1937. Most confirmed rabid dogs in the city of Los Angeles. 847 confirmed cases. 3 people die of rabies. In the spring of 1937, A 57-year-old man saw a dog attacking a group of school children. He rushed over, he grabbed the rabid dog, and was bitten several times. He held on to the rabid dog until the police arrived. This man's a hero. Sadly, he later died of rabies.
Oh.
In that same fall, an Altadena veterinarian also died of rabies.
Bummer. We don't want to hear about
Yeah.
the veterinarians getting rabies. I thought you guys
I know,
got
right?
vaccinated
But
and stuff.
Well, this is 1937, yo. We're not like prophylactically vaccinating vet students like we do now. 1955, so this is the same year as Dr. Stewart had his East Coast outbreak, if you remember that. Rabies epidemic occurred in dogs again. In 1955, a rabies epidemic occurred in the dogs in Los Angeles. There were 70 confirmed rabid dogs. 52 people were bitten by known rabid dogs, most of them in Compton, the city of Compton.
What up?
With 1 in 300 dog report bites actually being from rabid dogs. There were no human deaths in that 1955 one because they had a more prevalent post-exposure vaccine program.
How did that many people get bit and exposed, though? Jeez.
I know, right?
Okay.
In 1956, the largest rabies outbreak in cattle occurred at the Spanish-American Institute in Gardena. 24 cows and 1 hog were diagnosed with rabies at a charitable home and trade school for boys. So let's just get those kids all exposed to those rabid cows. 1 milk cow, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Chased chicken. 1 milk cow chased the chickens. Others pawed the ground, pushing their heads against the fences and corrals. Epidemic of rabies in dogs was occurring at the same time, and a stray dog had roamed to the boys' home earlier. So there's your rabid cow chasing chickens.
Yes.
Can you imagine that?
This is
Let's
what I'm
visualize
here
that for a
for.
second.
Yes.
So we're just going to take like 3 deep breaths, and we're going to meditate on a rabid cow chasing the chickens around the schoolyard.
This is what I wanted. This is what I was looking for. A rabid cow chasing things. Now,
So
I'm not
breathe
saying
in.
that I would
1,
do
2, 3. This is our new meditation.
Oh, speaking of meditation, you just wait. We have some things in the works for our zombies out there that need some relaxation. However, what if somebody opened that gate and that mad cow was not mad cow, that angry, furious cow was running through town going after people?
You know, we shouldn't be laughing about this. We're being extremely insensitive.
To who? To whom?
To whom? Good night. I mean, to those terribly traumatized rabies victims out there.
Oh, do you think they're listening?
I'm just being facetious. I think we should laugh at this because it sounds ridiculous. The rabid cow chasing the chickens around the schoolyard. That just has a beautiful ring to it.
I know, I love this.
The fact that that's actually a sentence that was published as part of a public health record makes me so happy.
That's fantastic. Guess what? AI is going to be making a picture of this for our audience to visualize the scenario a little bit better.
Well, there is this one, since we're on the subject of rabid cows. In 1964, a Brahma steer that was imported from Mexico 3 weeks after entering the feedlot in Newhall charged other cattle attempting to bite them. It's diagnosed with rabies.
They probably have a harder time infecting other animals since they don't have top teeth or canines.
I don't know, though. I mean, it hurts when they bite. They
How
can
many
break your
times?
skin.
How many times have you been bitten by a cow?
I don't think I could quantify that.
What were you trying to do to the cow when it tried to bite you?
I mean, I think I was just trying to. Most commonly, I was just trying to move around them and between them.
And they just bit you? You weren't even trying to put your
hey, please
hand
don't
in its...
touch me there. Well, they couldn't reach me when I was way back in the back. To get me. Yeah, so I was safe back there. So if you ever want to make sure you're not going to be able to be bitten by a cow, make sure your arm is in its butthole, and then you'll be safe.
Yeah, but the farting.
I mean, from the biting.
Oh, thank God.
The last person to die of laboratory-confirmed rabies in LA County was in 1975. Do you want the tragic cat story now?
Yes, please.
In 1987, a woman was visiting Acapulco, found a wandering cat and adopted it. Sadly, the cat was later bitten by a stray dog. This poor cat had a really tragic life. The cat was ill when it arrived in Los Angeles County and was diagnosed as a rabies suspected case within 48 hours by a local veterinarian.
And that's why they quarantine animals now when you travel.
Truth. This was 1987. I think it was in quarantine when they figured out that it had rabies. Yeah. But then in 2004, a traveler from Thailand imported a rabid puppy into LA. The puppy was diagnosed as rabid by the public health laboratory. There were multiple exposures to the puppy that were investigated in both Thailand and California.
Heck Yeah. So that one in the 1800s where there was like 75 dogs and 50 some people that were infected, I just feel like the rabies protocol has changed enough that that's why.
That was in 1955.
Oh, really? That's more recent than I thought.
Yeah, less than 100 years.
So I think they're a little bit more proactive about rabies outbreaks now. So hopefully, because people die pretty quickly from it.
Oh, here's a good one. On January 21st in 2005, the Acute Communicable Disease Control Program, ACDC, ACDC. Oh, Highway to Hell. Is Highway to Hell ACDC?
I think you're right.
I think I'm right. Yeah. Highway to Hell. Received a call from the coroner to report pathology findings highly suspicious for rabies. So this human died and they didn't even realize it. The decedent, a 22-year-old man, was born in El Salvador and had been in Los Angeles for 15 months. Additional specimens for rabies testing were sent to the CDC. So we have the ACDC and the CDC who confirmed the rabies diagnosis. Yeah.
So the next time you want to lie and you are attached to your pet so much that you don't want them to be euthanized or put a muzzle on them, just remember that huge amounts of people and animals can be extinguished because of...
ACDC is going to come and get you.
Yeah.
On your highway to hell. As like a ridiculous dog mom myself, I don't know. I think if I were faced with having to euthanize my dog because of a possible rabies diagnosis, I might actually have to sit down and think about the ethical connotations of running with my dog out of the country, fleeing like a fugitive.
Oh, and what would be your chances or your dog's chances of surviving that?
If the dog truly had rabies, the chances of survival are 0.
Would you really run with a rabid dog across borders?
I don't know.
Would you put
spice in me?
Yeah, you do. Would you put a muzzle on it so it at least doesn't give you rabies too? Or you're already vaccinated, so you don't care?
I'm vaccinated, but I also have bulldogs, and so muzzles probably aren't going to work. Have you seen those Frenchies with the muzzles on, though, that look like Hannibal Lecter masks?
No.
Oh my god, we need to pop some of those on our social media. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, let's do that. 100%.
Yeah.
So you would just be like, I hope my dog doesn't kill me.
I mean, maybe there's got to be somebody else to take the wheel. What's a rabies-associated deity? Lissa. Yeah, duh. Lissa was the Greek goddess of rage, fury, and rabies. She's associated with driving animals mad, notably the dogs of Actaeon, causing them to turn on their master. She's often depicted as a winged figure, sometimes wearing a dog's head cap, and was considered a spirit of rage that could be invoked by other gods for various purposes. Bam!
Wow!
Lissa, take the wheel.
Say it again.
Lissa. Lyssa. That's why they named it Lissa virus. Lissa, take the wheel.
Nice. So that's why they call it Lissa virus species?
Yeah, named for the Greek goddess of rape, Lissa. The goddess of rage and crazed fury. Pretty sweet.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know why they named it that, and now we know.
I mean, I'm always on the verge of rage, so maybe this is my new patron. My new, instead of science, now my new god is Lissa.
And it's a Roman or a Greek thing?
Greek.
Cool. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
The patron saint of rabid dogs.
Rage and unchecked fury. So good.
Wait, she's not a saint, though.
No, she's a goddess. We got real distracted. I'm feeling loosey-goosey today, Amber.
Uh-oh.
Can't stick to a plan at all.
I mean, I'm not sure we had a plan.
Sometimes no plan is the best plan. When Lissa takes the wheel. Do you want to talk about this rabies patient that was the first fatal case after post-exposure treatment?
Oh,
yeah.
I thought...
Like before they developed symptoms.
Oh, wow. I thought post-exposure treatment was usually pretty successful if they didn't develop symptoms yet.
Not for this poor dude.
What happened?
What happened? A Minnesota man is the first reported fatality due to rabies in the U.S. despite receiving appropriate post-exposure prophylaxis. There's that word again. According to a recent article published in Clinical Infectious Disease. So this is on the Global Center for Health Security website. An 84-year-old man died in 2021 about 6 months after he woke up in the morning with a rabid bat biting his right hand. Yeah. He received timely and appropriate treatment to prevent rabies infection following the exposure, and then he had an unrecognized immune deficiency and developed symptoms and died 6 months later.
Oh, dang. The immune deficiency thing will get you.
Yeah. Yep.
Because even if they give you the vaccine, which is an antibody against rabies, then it might not be enough because it's supposed to also prime your own native immune system, right? And help your body produce antibodies against rabies from your immune system.
Yeah. And remember in the episode where you asked me how effective the vaccine was, and I said it was 99.999999999%. This is the 0.0000001% that it didn't work in.
Oh.
Was that too many zeros or too few?
Both.
I lost track. I was going to say that approximately 60,000 people received post-exposure prophylaxis annually in the U.S. compared to 29 million people globally. It's a lot. During 2000 to 2021, an average of 2.5 persons died from rabies every year in the U.S., but none of those receiving prophylaxis developed symptoms or died until this man.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty effective.
Yeah, he had a lot of comorbidities. I like that word too, comorbidities. Lots of different things causing problems.
Yeah.
He had coronary heart disease as a comorbidity, controlled type 2 diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, chronic kidney disease, and enlarged prostate. He washed his hands and he went to the hospital right away.
Damn.
He captured the bat. Like he did everything right.
He did do everything right. I'm so proud of him. But if you wake up and a bat is speeding on you, definitely get that checked out for sure. Keeping the bat's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. The reporter or the person that they were speaking to about the case said, and I quote, "While tragic, this death represents an extremely rare event and does not challenge the high efficacy or safety profile of rabies post-exposure prophylaxis." Just throwing that out there. Get your shots.
Yeah, poor guy.
Get your jabs, as they say in the UK, which is a rabies-free area. BT dubs.
They don't have rabies?
Why? Because they're really strict about it. And it's an island. It's easy to eradicate things on an island, or a series of islands. So sorry, Ireland, for the part of you that's part of the UK.
I mean, they have rules and strict protocols for a reason, though.
So the UK's regulations to prevent the reintroduction of rabies include mandatory vaccination of all dogs, cats, and ferrets, restrictions on the import of animals from rabies-infected countries. That means us. So if you're trying to get your dog to the UK, make sure you work very, very closely with your veterinarian to meet the requirements. They do surveillance and monitoring of wildlife populations and public awareness campaigns. Yeah, it's been rabies-free since 1902.
Good job, UK.
Well done. So I guess we can say right now there's a 100% chance that the zombie apocalypse will not start via rabies in the United Kingdom. So congratulations, UK, you're safe.
Good job. That's good. Can I tell you some stories, or do you have more?
No, please. I've been hogging the microphone. Please talk to me in your sultry, calm voice.
I don't have one of those, but I'll look into it for sure. Okay,
you're breathy today. You got that part of it. Sultry, breathy.
I feel like I'm out of breathy, but you know. Okay. So the girl who lived from 2004, she's a 15-year-old girl from Wisconsin. She was bitten by a bat, but don't hate on bats just because they harbor exotic diseases. But she didn't receive the post-exposure prophylaxis, so she developed full-blown rabies symptoms, and she was the first known unvaccinated person to survive symptomatic rabies using the experimental Milwaukee protocol, which is a medically induced coma to buy time while her immune system fought the virus. Nearly all others treated this way later died, so her survival is still considered a medical anomaly. So the Milwaukee protocol you mentioned in the main episode, a few people were put in a coma and then they were provided treatment, but most people, after they exhibit symptoms, do not survive with or without this protocol. So she is a medical marvel. But I think she did have some long-lasting effects and some brain damage and stuff like that.
Isn't she the one that was lost to follow-up like 5 or 10 years after? Like they couldn't find her to check in on her? I think so.
Where did she go?
Wrong. Well, when they say lost to follow-up, it means nobody knows where you are. Wait, hang on. Never mind. She's currently living and is a mother of 3. We shouldn't creep on. Let's not creep on her in the world. Maybe we should take her name out of it.
Okay.
I wonder if her children have higher rabies antibodies.
Oh, do you think it's possible she passed on immunity?
Yeah,
Holy
She's
smokes.
been alive for 20 years post-survival.
I wonder if they can use her serum like they do with that one guy that got bit by 50,000 different kinds of snakes.
Yeah, to make the anti-venom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do another little tangent. It's not anti-venom, it's anti-venin with an N. Just throwing that out there. Anti-venin.
Thanks, Stacy.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve I have.
But anti-venom legit seems pretty logical, so I could see why it's a popular misnomer. I've got a story to tell you.
Okay, hit me. Sorry.
Here's one that's super interesting and weird, and anomalous, and I love this. Okay, so this is called the aerophobia case of the spinning man in India in the early 2000s. So what happened was a man was admitted to a hospital with paralysis, panic, and spasms triggered by air. The mere breeze from a fan made him scream and convulse, which is pretty badass, right? So rabies will make you hydrophobic or afraid of water because the virus is basically telling you that it doesn't want you to drink water because it would dilute the rabies viral load in your saliva. So when you bite somebody, it wants like the most amount of rabies particles possible. But for one anomalous reason, this man had aerophobia. And so that's pretty terrifying because classic rabies symptom or symptoms of aerophobia is a painful spasm of the throat when it's exposed to moving air. So patients often scream, writhe, or contort when exposed to wind, water, or light. And I'm assuming this also has to do with your impulse to not swallow. When you have rabies, your mouth is agape. There was one story you told us in the last episode, and it may be in the Patreon version, but one of the dogs that was infected had its mouth. The owner thought that there was something stuck in its jaw because its mouth was stuck in an open position, and the guy was like, "Oh, let me put my hand in there," which is not a good idea. But it was
so logical, right? Like, I put my hand in so many dog mouths because I think there might be something stuck in there. So many.
You're weird like that. That's cool. But I think that the virus doesn't want you to swallow because all your good rabies virus is in your mouth and in your saliva. It doesn't want you to swallow, so I think that's why you get aerophobic. But he died within 72 hours, foaming at the mouth and begging for silence and stillness. This case is still used in medical training to demonstrate late-stage symptoms of the virus. So that's pretty gnarly.
It's insane. What if you were a breatharian?
You would die with or without rabies, for sure. Either way, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble for shizzle.
Oh, I have a dog side exorcism from 19th century France to tell you about. Are you interested?
Yeah, I'm so interested. Please.
Okay, so a French farmer was bit by a rabid dog, and as symptoms began, the local priest performed an exorcism, believing him to be possessed. Wow. The man barked and growled.
I can see that.
Right? The man barked and growled and lunged at others. His quote-unquote demonic possession was actually furious rabies, an infection that mimics madness or lycanthropy. What does that mean, Stacy?
Oh my God, werewolves!
Werewolves. Sorry. This and similar cases helped birth werewolf myths, as well as the idea of demonic possession linked to disease. So that's a great link.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's
Season
kind
2,
of
here we come.
Yeah, to our culture and folklore, and then also future seasons. So that's pretty cool. Can I give you a couple more?
Yeah, I'm in it. Let's do this.
Cool. There was a rabid puppy smuggled into the U.S. in 2008 when a shipment of rescue puppies from India arrived at JFK Airport in New York. One puppy developed symptoms after adoption and tested positive for rabies, but the horrifying twist is that dozens of other animals and humans were potentially exposed, and a massive public health alert was issued. So this case revealed that vulnerabilities in international pet rescue and highlighted the globalization of rabies risk. So another reason for quarantine. There was a story with rabid horses in Argentina that attacked humans in the 2000s. So I don't know why, but I fucking love this. If you're not a carnivorous beast and you're some kind of cute little grass-chewing herbivore and you're attacking humans, I'm here for it. So this is what happened. Horses began showing strange behavior, including charging people, biting, and acting drunk. And rabies and herbivores are pretty rare, but when it happens, it often leads to aggressive behavior that's completely unnatural to the species. Several ranchers in this case were bitten and required emergency PEP, or prophylactic emergency. What does that stand for?
Post-exposure prophylaxis.
Thank you. And locals were traumatized by formerly gentle animals turning into thrashing, biting creatures. Heck yeah. Ooh. Listen to this. In Myanmar in 1956, there was a rabid elephant breakout.
What? No.
Yes. Can you imagine?
Oh my God. I'm so afraid.
I don't know how they bite because they don't have, they've got those back teeth, but...
Well, they're just going to trample your ass, right? Because they're raging.
Hell yeah. There was an elephant handler that was bitten while feeding his elephant, and over the next month, the elephant became aggressive, hyperactive, and attacked villagers. This is the only documented case of a rabid elephant and an expanded understanding of the species' susceptibility. The elephant was then euthanized, and rabies was confirmed through histopathology. So that's pretty sad.
Can you imagine taking his brain out to test it?
Oh my word. No, that would be crazy, right?
Like really hard to get to.
Ooh, do you want to hear a story about the longest incubation ever?
Yeah. I'm
Cool.
so
Okay,
excited.
so it was reported to be 25 years long incubation. A man in Texas claimed that he contracted rabies from a childhood dog bite and developed symptoms 25 years later. Most rabies cases can show symptoms within 2 to 12 weeks. And if accurate, this would be the longest known rabies incubation period, completely rewriting our understanding of latency. Some scientists suspect that later exposure was missed, but if it's real, it's chilling. But I'm assuming maybe he got bit by a bat in the middle of the night while he was sleeping or something, because those things can bite you without you even knowing, right? Kind of?
Yeah, totally. I call bullshit on that.
Okay, I believe you.
I mean, it's interesting and it's fun to speculate about, but I call bullshit.
And I think that you already talked about this, but this is the rabies cow case in Paraguay in the 2000s, where several cows began biting fences, attacking handlers, and running in circles. They had paralytic rabies. An infection came from vampire bats biting the cows at night. And this
No, I didn't talk about that one.
Oh, cool. This shows how rabies presents differently in livestock, often as staggering, confusion, aggression, and leading to rumors of mad cow or curses. But we have a whole different mad cow thing that we want to talk about later.
I mean, I think that we could blame everything on curses. Maybe that should be our new go-to.
Curses?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, instead of blaming science or deities, we just blame curses for everything.
Well, I'm sick right now, so I've been cursed as well.
You've been cursed?
Yep.
You've been cursed? Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock?
Yeah, I forgot about that movie.
How can you forget? So
that was a long time ago.
I fucking love birds, and I think they're pretty metal, but they seem like, separated from us because they fly away. And
I'm like a bird. I want to fly away. God, you gotta quit making me do this.
Thanks, Stacey. But also, it's hard to get a lot of infectious agents into birds. I guess they do spread a lot of stuff with their poop. They could poop on you, but they don't often attack people or bite people, and they don't have a lot of teeth, although I'd consider a beak a pretty significant tooth action bitey thing.
I mean, I've been bitten by a lot of pet birds, and it can be exquisitely painful, and they can break bones and break skin.
So it would be pretty scary, legit, if a bird got an infectious disease that made them aggressive. And they have a serious swarming potential, because have you ever seen those murmurations or a group of geese coming up from a pond? Instead of worrying about them pooping on you, imagine worrying about them coming up and all attacking you at once, because there's tons of them.
Oh my God.
They come in hordes, scary groups.
For the horde.
So what if the bird population could get rabies? Just what if? How terrifying would that be?
I mean, that would be really, really, really scary. That would be so scary.
And also
I can't even imagine. And metal.
Yeah.
And metal. Can you let's visualize New York City. You're at a park. There's some sweet old lady feeding the pigeons. There's a giant flock of pigeons around her. Something changes all of a sudden, and the pigeons engulf the human. Major rage. There's blood everywhere. There's screaming. There's feathers all over. And then when they're done devouring that human, they just move on to passersby.
That'd be gnarly, dude. And if you've ever been attacked by an angry rooster, you know that just one of them could be pretty terrifying, let alone a whole swarm of them.
Yeah.
So why don't birds naturally get rabies?
Oh, okay. So there's lots of reasons why birds don't get naturally occurring rabies. There's a lot of species barriers between avian and mammal species and vice versa. So the rabies virus attaches to nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. God, I love that word, nicotinic. In mammalian nervous systems, but birds have structurally different receptors, so the rabies might not be able to bind or enter into their nerve cells effectively. They run hotter than humans. Average body temperature is 105, and depending on the species, it can run up to 108. And rabies replication optimizes at mammalian body temperatures of the high 90s. Avian body might be too hot for effective viral replication for our current rabies strains. And their brain has pretty different structures. The rabies targets mammalian limbic systems, which are fear aggression centers, and birds have a simpler and differently wired brain regions. So if an infection occurred, it might not have symptoms that resemble the classic rabies behavior or furious form.
Has rabies ever infected birds?
Experimentally, yeah, because you know how us humans are. We like to try things. Lab experiments, primarily with chickens chickens and pigeons, they can be infected by direct injection of the rabies virus into the brain. Like we were talking about for therapeutic options, they were doing this to prove that they could infect birds that way. But when the birds are infected, they're not shedding the virus in their saliva and they're not spreading it. It's localized. They're often asymptomatic, and get this, their bodies take care of it right away. Their immune systems neutralize the virus way faster than mammals.
They're pretty cool. I wonder how hard it would be for rabies to mutate to adapt to the higher body temperature and different limbic system.
I mean, I think it would be really hard. The virus would need to adapt its proteins so that it can bind to bird-specific acetylcholine receptors and make its way through other entry points into their nervous system. It would have to have some pretty big changes in the flexibility of what it needs to replicate. It would have to evolve a thermal tolerance so that it could replicate with that high avian body temperature. And that would mean that it would have to have fundamental changes in its polymerase enzymes, which is actually a really hard thing to quickly mutate. And it would have to figure out how to avoid their very robust immune system.
That does seem like it would be hard to do. Your polymerase, whatever you said.
Polymerase enzymes.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. I like these words. They make me happy.
They're pretty cute. Have there been any real-world close calls with any kind of bird outbreaks?
I mean, there's anecdotal reports of chickens and ducks being bitten by rabid animals, but nobody has ever reported that they've developed any symptoms of disease, and certainly not been able to transmit it to other birds and or other species.
That'd be pretty gnarly, because they got the numbers. They could descend upon us and then fly away. Like, how would we catch a huge murmuration of infected rabid birds?
Somebody's going to slip through the net.
Okay, so do you want to talk about what would it take to infect birds besides what you just talked about to cross the species barrier?
Is there more?
Rabies would need to be mutated or engineered to overcome several obstacles. I don't remember anything about glycoprotein binding.
Yeah, I didn't use that word, but I just paraphrased it for the general populace because you told me I was using too many big words last time.
Glycoproteins,
viral polymerase enzymes, interferon response.
Ooh, I love interferon. Interferon is a wonderful cytokine/chemokine that strongly stimulates the immune system. And that's why birds don't get a lot of viral replication, because they've got fucking awesome fucking cytokine action in here.
As Amber Wax is poetical about cytokines.
I love cytokines. They're your little chemical messengers of your immune system. They're like a telegraph. They're like boop, 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 boop.
A little bit more advanced than a telegraph.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so what if rabies did infect birds?
Well, you know we love to speculate.
Yeah, let's get speculative. Stacy?
It would be terrifying if rabies did infect birds. So, a worst case scenario. I don't know how I feel about the name of this.
Say it.
Your thoughts?
Say it. I love it.
It seems really cheesy. The Sky Rage strain.
I love it. I love cheese. Who doesn't love cheesy?
Oh, it just says, imagine a mutant rabies virus, natural or engineered, because we do like that infects birds and causes hyperaggression, pecking, flapping, attacking mammals, and that's all I have.
Hell yeah.
And then zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse.
It's like the pigeons are sleeper agents. They're going to take out the world. They just haven't done so yet.
You know, they're working on it with bird flu, so.
So now it just says flight spread transmission and saliva-borne contagion. Birds don't have a ton of saliva though. I think we should switch it from saliva to like urate or droppings transmission. So like every bird that shits on your fancy car is actually trying to give you rabies.
I mean, if you're going to mutate to adapt to birds, you might as well mutate your transmissibility bodily fluid to
they have a lot. Sorry. Please go ahead.
Yeah, to your pee-pee poo-poo mix. So that would be a really great adaptation, is the fecal-oral transmission, because a lot of GI diseases and GI illness is fecal-oral route. And I always tell people, if you got that GI disease, you ate shit. You literally ate shit because somebody didn't wash their hands after they pooped.
Lovely.
But anyway, if it happens in birds, though, mass transmission.
Yeah, can you imagine if it got into waterfowl? I don't know if you've ever seen a ghost shit in the lake, but goddamn. That
So think of avian rabies as the birds meets 28 days later, infected crows blackening the sky, ravens clawing at windows, and chickens pecking through fences. Transmissible, mobile, airborne rabies. I love this. That would be dope.
It's really good. I think I actually changed my mind, and it's not, I don't think it should be pigeons. I think it should be chickens.
Yeah, but they don't fly.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Good point. But I had this vision of a very bougie backyard chicken coop, one that's like beautifully painted and has very thick bedding, and there's many perches, and some human lovingly goes out every day to care for the flock, knows everybody's personality and names. And then one day they just go out to feed the chickens, and they go into the coop, and all of the chickens mob rage attack them.
Well, that would be sad. My friend, okay, so here's a shout out to our Patreon listener, Lisa from Pennsylvania. And I just want to apologize to Lisa because this would be like the worst case scenario for her little chicken colony.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Lisa's chickens. Please disregard everything that I just said.
Yeah, sorry, Lisa.
I love chicken.
We do.
I had a chicken when I was a kid. Do you want to hear some tragic stories about chickens?
I think so.
I had a chicken when I was a kid. Okay, so the first one was my chicken Thunder. She was a barred rock hen. She was adorable. And whenever I would go out, because it was my job to help to take care of the chickens, she would run over to me, and the flock would be out and about, but she would want to hang out with me. So Thunder was my girl. And we used to have to supervise the chickens when they were out of their coop area foraging, because it was in the mountains and there were lots of predators. And one day it was my job to be out supervising, and Thunder was hanging out, but she kind of went with the rest of the flock instead of right next to me.
Okay, these are horrible stories.
I told you it was going to be tragedy. It was my chicken tragedy stories. I told you.
I'm just going to cut it off right after you had an adorable chicken named Thunder that would prefer you over the flock.
I mean, you should just cut everything out at that point.
Yeah, but the Thunder. That's a cute name. So can you tell me if this could be engineered for biowarfare, and some challenges that might have to take place to be able to do that? We're pretty safe with that, right?
Yeah, we're very safe with that. I think there are way better biowarfare things that we could pick if we were of a military persuasion, which we are not. We're peace-loving. Do we love peace? I think we love peace. We're peace-loving, aren't we?
Not really.
No?
But I think with the avian neurobiology and immune system and receptor mapping, I think it would be pretty challenging.
Yeah, exceedingly difficult, and probably not worth the hassle of actually deploying that as a weapon. I think it would be too much of a hassle. I would say there's other ways to damage humanity than bioengineering rabies virus version that can be transmitted by avian species.
Like what?
Do you really want me to get into that?
Kinda. Seems cool.
I don't want to give any Lex Luthor types too many ideas.
I mean, you'd have to have a pretty elaborate laboratory, which means it would be like a foreign country.
Sharks with laser beams on their head.
There you go. So, Stacey, one of our listeners had a question about rabies infecting muscle tissue or affecting our meat supply, because that would be one really scary way of spreading rabies virus in a really terrifying way. And because of the neurotropism, we don't see rabies spreading in that way or getting into our food supply. And if it does get into our food supply or livestock like cows, they don't get introduced to us because we get them from the store and they're ground up muscle tissue. So can you tell us a little bit about what tissues does rabies normally infect, and what would it take to infect muscle tissue instead?
Yeah. So since rabies is a neurotropic virus, it primarily targets nerve cells, not necessarily muscle or connective tissue. And all the cells in the body are very different, and they have a job to do, and they're built to do that particular job. And rabies has a job of getting into the central nervous system, so it targets those nerve cells. But after a bite, the virus will briefly replicate in the muscle near the wound. And that's why you use the immunoglobulin around a wound as part of that post-exposure prophylaxis treatment. So after the bite, when the virus is replicating in the muscle, we know that it can be there for a little while. So it can exist in muscle, but it doesn't stay there or replicate enough to necessarily cause infection if someone or something were to ingest that muscle tissue around the bite.
But if rabies lethality reduced, so it was not visible in the cow herd, and it also mutated to live in muscle tissue and stay there and replicate more, then that would be a way. But that would be like a pretty significant set of mutations.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Okay, can I tell you about real rabies risk in slaughterhouses?
Yes, please.
Okay, so why rabies is actually dangerous in our livestock populations is because slaughtering a rabid cow could actually aerosolize infected saliva or brain tissue, risking transmission to butchers via mucous membranes or open wounds. And undiagnosed infections in livestock may go unnoticed until neurological symptoms appear when it's too late. So that would be a scary scenario. And in one case example, in Latin America, vampire bats transmit rabies to cattle, leading to outbreaks of mad cow-like behavior, and ranchers and meat workers are occasionally exposed during butchering. So post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP, is advised after such exposure. So can it infect muscle tissue long-term? Theoretically, yes, if the virus mutates to favor replication in myocytes or muscle cells, if it invades the immune system detection long enough to persist, and if it spreads from muscle to bloodstream to salivary glands, bypassing the nerve-based pathways, which would be a pretty significant mutation. But right now, rabies, yes. And right now, rabies lacks this mutation ability, or lacks this mechanism. But in lab settings, genetic engineering could potentially make this possible by modifying the tissue tropism, which is similar to viruses like Zika, and those evolved from mosquito-borne to placental penetration, or penetrating. Don't say anything about that. Penetration.
Hold my breath.
Okay.
Penetration.
Okay. So what if beef or infected beef entered the food supply? Zombeef.
Zombie apocalypse.
No, zombeef.
Oh, zombie.
Insert zombeef commercial here.
Tired of bland beef that just lays there on your plate? Craving a little more life in your livestock? Introducing Zombeef, the only USDA-ignored meat product with a bite that bites back. Zombeef. Zombeef tastes like doom and protein grease. Our patented muscle-building rabies strain keeps the flavor fresh, even after death. I can feel it working. Whether it's burgers, jerky, or a midnight ritual feast, Zombeef is perfect for protein junkies, doomsday preppers, and those with an acquired taste for mayhem. Side effects may include howling at the moon, compulsive biting, shadow hallucinations, intense hydrophobia, and the end of civilization as we know it. Not responsible for outbreaks, stampedes, or unauthorized limb consumption. Zombeef may not be legal in 48 states and most time zones. Thanks, Zombeef! We're a family again. When your steak screams, you know it's fresh.
Okay, I'm just going to make one point. We could do a whole section on theoretical fictional infection of livestock beef and then the bioterrorism or a natural mutation that would take a billion years, but the simple fact is that cooking destroys rabies. The heat kills it very quickly, and rabies is destroyed at 122 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So your average burger cooks to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is well above survival limits. So even in horror scenarios, cooked meat isn't a vector, but cross-contamination, raw food trends, or blood exposure could allow rare edge cases in speculative futures. But also the breatharian movement could also create some problems with this. Bat-bird hybrid vectors does seem kind of cool, or climate change influence mutation, because if rabies adapted for climate change, it would naturally adapt to the bird temperature, higher temperature thing.
Interesting. Well, but I mean, it has to be in a vector since it's so environmentally sensitive.
Wouldn't the bird be the vector if climate change mutated rabies to adapt to higher temperatures?
I mean, I guess it would have to have the host mammal also adapting to higher temperatures, since it can't just like, you can't drool on the ground and then a bird happen to walk through the drool and preen it off and then suddenly get rabies, right?
Oh, because like how would the bird get infected, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, do birds get bit by anything ever?
Yeah, birds get bit by things all the time.
Like what? Why don't they fly away? Seriously, don't laugh at me.
Impeccable. You're right. Why don't they just fucking fly away? No, I mean, they're a prey species for sure. Well, many of them are.
Oh yeah, my dog
loves
dogs and cats. Catch them all the time, huh?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Sometimes
most birds that have been bitten by a cat will die from serious infection. In fact, for wildlife at work, if they come in with a presumed or known cat bite, We don't even necessarily examine them first. We just weigh them and give them an injection of antibiotics because they have such a high mortality.
But what if rabies did adapt to higher temperatures because of climate change, and then a cat bit a bird and it got away, and then you got it and gave it antibiotics, but that didn't do anything for viruses because antibiotics are for bacteria, and then you released it back into the wild, and then it became a natural vector for rabies, and it started infecting all of the other birds, either with saliva or the pee-pee poo-poo combo, and then we all died. Zombie apocalypse.
Oh my god, that's like probably the most plausible way that I directly as a human could cause a zombie apocalypse. You found it. Amazing. Well done.
All you had to do was save that rabies bird. Frick yeah, dude. You're killing two birds with one stone. You're saving two birds with one apocalypse there.
I'm saving one bird and one virus for one. Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I think.
And calling the
I
human
think it's
population
possible.
all at the same time. You're team animal anyway.
Team animal.
Amazing.
Well, thank you for that. You just made my day so much better. I feel encouraged and ready to face my workday. Thank you for that scenario.
Whether it's skybirds, mooing corpses, or just a single bite from a rabid raccoon, rabies will always be one of the most terrifying viruses known to humankind. It's the monster under the bed, except it's real, and it's frothing. Ew.
It's really bad.
Thanks for joining us for this Mutant Hollow Mini. If you like this cursed cocktail of real science and speculative horror, make sure you're subscribed, because the full rabies episode has already happened. Thanks for joining us for this Mutant Hollow Mini. If you liked this cursed cocktail of real science and speculative horror, make sure you're subscribed, because a full episode of Parasites is coming next week, and it's swarming with even more gruesome goodies, mind-controlling monsters, and things that definitely don't belong inside of you. Oh, it's gross.
I'm so sorry. Oh, shit.
Mutant Hollow, where science goes to die, and the dead don't stay quiet.
Like and subscribe, or I'm sending a bat to your window tonight, and not the cute kind.
Haha, they're all cute. Okay, so I just want to give a couple listener shout outs because we have some super cool listeners out there, and I just wanted to tell you about a couple of them. Well, our first one, and you know him, it's Shane in Colorado, and he made a whole bunch of his own merch because our store isn't quite set up yet, and so he sent in a picture of a water bottle that he had with a Mutant Hollow sticker that he made, which I thought was super dope. So what up, Shane? Happy birthday. Did you know it was Shane's birthday?
Shane.
Yeah.
Yay, happy
Shane
birthday!
just had a birthday. Yeah. And our next listener shout out is for Lisa in Pennsylvania, who I mentioned briefly before, but she just sent in a listener submission story that I just really wanted to share with you that I thought was pretty wild, and then I wanted to see if you had any crazy stories that were kind of similar that were along the same vein. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool. So Lisa used to work in a vet's office kind of shadowing in high school, like during summer and in her evenings and stuff like that after school, because she originally wanted to be a vet, and now she's a human nurse. But she had a cool story of when she was shadowing for the vet's office in high school that I thought was pretty gnarly, and then I told her, I think I like this lady, but we'll see. So anyway, It's kind of sad, but also I could see myself doing this.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Okay,
Mutant Fam, real quick content heads up. The next part of this listener story includes a memory from her vet school days that might be a little bit too intense for some sensitive listeners. So I've clipped that section from the main episode, but if you're on Patreon, check out our extended edition version of it. That will have the full uncut story there in all of its sad and emotional glory. But for now, we're going to skip ahead to another short, weird, and more listener-friendly tale that she shared. It's still a little bit graphic, so buckle up. We're still riding on the mutant train.
but anyway, happy birthday, Shane, and thanks, Lisa, for your listener story.
You're gonna have to cut out all of our waxing poetic about our dead dogs.
I don't know if I'm gonna. We'll see.
No.
One more story. story that I wanted to ask you about, and Lisa said that they once had a hamster with a prolapsed uterus, and so they put sugar on it to shrink it and poke it back in. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I actually do that all the time for many a different prolapse. Yeah. So like uteruses and dogs, we just have a Tupperware full of sugar that you can just dump all over it. Or you can use like hypertonic sugar solution, so dextrose solution. It's like 50% dextrose, and that works the same way. It just pulls the fluid out of the tissues and allows you to pop it back in. So we do it for butts, we do it for hooies, and we do it for pee-pees.
You're really weird.
I do some weird shit.
It's pretty fucking weird. So, like, does anybody ever mix up the Tupperware and use it for their coffee, and then they're like, oh no, I used the prolapsed uterus sugar again?
But you don't dip the prolapse into the Tupperware. You safely and cleanly remove the sugar and then put it upon the prolapsed tissue. It's not like you've got a prolapsed rectum that you're just willy-nilly dipping into a vat of sugar.
Whatever, dude. No matter what, it's prolapsed rectum sugar, no matter what. No matter how you get it out of the vessel. Period. Period.
End of story.
I like the distorted animal sounds.
Distorted. Ooh, low rumbling breath and a wet, squelchy bite sound.
Ew. Don't get bit.
Don't get bit.
Gnaw on that subscribe button like it's your last brain. Join the horde.
See, okay, so I, play a lot of WoW back in the day. And one of the sound bites for WoW is for the horde. So whenever you're like fighting or there's a cut for the orcs are the horde, and it's always like for the horde. So it's really hard for me to get over that join the horde because I just want to say for the horde.
Oh, I love that. Maybe we'll hit the WoW population in here.
Yeah, the WoW nerd. Yeah, for the horde.
For the horde.
Sorry, I can't. It's a thing. Gnaw on that subscribe button like it's your last brain. Join the horde. For the horde.
Oh my god. Okay. It's cute.
In the city of Compton. You know that one.
Hell yeah.
We keep it rolling. I don't know all the words. I don't sing. Please cut that.
Okay. Also, I'm gonna cough.
Do you have a zombie apocalypse pathogen? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Oh, Humi, yeah. I have a zombie apocalypse pathogen, and I am also okay. In fact, I'm doing much better now. Thank you. Are you gonna do a pee pee poo poo?
No, I'm gonna take my headphones out this time though, so that.
Oh, you don't want the recording of waterfall noises? We could put that in a meditation thing, and people can meditate to your waterfall noises.
No, we've had a lot of TMI on this one, and I think that might push my TMI boundaries.
Oh, we hit a boundary. Oh man.
That's just...
That's pretty cool. I don't have that.
You can do it with your friends too.
I don't have any of those.
Since we're our only friends,
I was just thinking that.
We don't need Slack. Hey, I wonder, Amber, why nobody wants to be friends.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
I mean, I feel like we're pretty cool, and we're not traumatic at all, or inappropriate, or...
We laugh at death a lot.
I know, we do.
Like a lot.
It's very punk rock.
Fuck yeah.
And then you die.
Your pee pee poo poo mix.
Okay, can you say that again without me interrupting you? Because it was really good, and I'm so sorry.
The pee pee poo poo mix. Cloaca.
Your cloaca. Hey, excuse me, sir. Your cloaca is showing.
GI illness is fecal oral route. You ate shit.
Goddamn. That makes a mess.
Gross.
Can you do the Beavis and Butthead laugh again? Because I like that a lot.
I just did that naturally, so...
Did you really? So
yeah.
Does that age us?
No. I'm just gonna cut it off right after you had an adorable chicken named Thunder. Yeah,
I'm
but the
just sharing my
thunder.
trauma.
That's a cute name. Oh.
Little Britches was really cute. He was a Rhode Island Red, and he used to run around in diapers in the house. Little Britches. I still have pictures of him somewhere. Let's just say that I encourage breatharianism if you feel in your heart that that's what you should pursue.
Where the fuck are we? What the fuck am I doing? What is happening right now? I don't even know.
I don't remember what I just said.
It's the monster under the bed, except it's real, and it's frothing. Ew.
Frothing. That's a gross word.
I know. I don't like it.
I mean, I think it fits, and you should keep it there. But yeah, it's right up there with moist. Frothing.
Moist frothing.
Moist, yeah.
Gross.
What's another gross word?
I think moist and frothing go together pretty well. Okay.
The imagery is just terrible.
It's disgusting.
I was imagining it.
Don't do that.
It's really bad.
Just stop.
Teeny tiny mushrooms in my dart frog's enclosure. Like really tiny.
And things that definitely don't belong inside of you. Ew, it's gross.
I'm so sorry. Oh, shit.
Just feel like that was made for you.
That was made for me?
Yeah.
Because it was gross?
For things that don't belong inside of you, yes.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yep.
Cool.
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 Great job,
Cool.
Stacy.
Good enough?
You try.